Unquiet Graves. Chapter 1. Forbidden Love. In the shadowy corners of Araguaia, where the sun rarely pierced the dense canopy of twisted trees, Eleanor and Melvin found solace in each other's arms. Their love was a secret, a fragile blossom nurtured in the dark. Each wore a half-coin pendant, a symbol of their bond, whispering promises of a future that felt just within reach. But the world around them was cruel. Donald, a wealthy man with a heart as cold as the river that wound through the village, desired Eleanor as his trophy. When she rejected his advances, he resorted to dark means to eliminate the obstacles standing in his way. Melvin, a plantation slave with dreams of freedom and love, soon became a target of Donald's wrath. Chapter 2. The Night of Shadows. The night Melvin was murdered was etched into Eleanor's mind like a scar. She waited at Eleanor's bridge, a dilapidated structure that creaked above the murky waters of the river below. The moonlight flickered like a candle, illuminating a path that would never again lead to Melvin. Hours turned into an agonizing eternity until a runner brought the news. Melvin was gone, taken from her by the very darkness that sought to consume their love. Grief enveloped her like a shroud, pulling her into a world devoid of color. The pendant felt heavy against her chest, a constant reminder of her lost love. She wandered through Araguaia's dilapidated houses and overgrown paths, a ghost among the living, her heart shattered and her spirit crushed. Chapter 3. Restless Dreams. As the seasons changed, Melvin's spirit became restless, trapped between the world of the living and the afterlife. He appeared in Eleanor's dreams, his form shimmering like starlight. In those moments they embraced, their souls entwined in a passion that defied death. But when morning came, the dreams faded, leaving Eleanor alone in a world that had turned its back on her. Life in Araguaia continued, but Eleanor's existence became a series of painful reminders. The villagers whispered cruel words behind her back, judging her for loving a man of a different station, a man marked by his skin. Donald, emboldened by his success, pursued Eleanor relentlessly, each encounter a fresh wound. Years passed, and Eleanor's heart grew heavy with despair. The weight of racism, poverty, and loneliness bore down on her, each day a battle against a world that sought to break her spirit. She often returned to Eleanor's bridge, where Melvin once waited for her, hoping to feel his presence one last time. But the bridge was silent, a witness to her suffering. Eleanor's life became a tapestry of rejection and pain, woven with threads of unfulfilled dreams. The old, dilapidated houses that dotted the landscape felt like tombs of forgotten hopes, and the graves of those who had lived and died in silence whispered stories of their own misery. As the years turned into decades, she aged prematurely, her beauty fading under the burden of unhappiness. Chapter 5. A Life Cut Short. When Eleanor succumbed to the weight of her sorrows, the villagers mourned her passing as if she were just another lost soul. But in death, she found the freedom that had eluded her in life. The moment she crossed over, she was reunited with Melvin, their coins merging into one, a symbol of their undying love. Together, they lingered around Eleanor's bridge, their spirits entwined, haunting Araguaia as they sought to confront the man who had brought them such pain. They found solace in each other, their love igniting a fire that had long been extinguished. Chapter 6. Haunting the Past. With their reunion came a fierce desire for retribution. Donald, now an old man, still clung to his wealth and power, oblivious to the vengeful spirits that watched him from the shadows. Eleanor and Melvin began to haunt him, appearing in his dreams, twisting his mind with visions of their suffering. The once proud man found himself plagued by visions of the couple, their laughter echoing in the corners of his mind. The old rotting houses of Araguaia seemed to groan with discontent, their walls steeped in the history of pain and loss. He felt their anguish, the weight of their unfulfilled love, and it drove him to madness. Chapter 7. The Cycle of Pain. As the seasons changed, so did the atmosphere of Araguaia. The villagers, drawn by the supernatural energy, gathered at the bridge, unaware that the past was not yet finished with them. The air crackled with tension, the spirits of Eleanor and Melvin intent on making their presence known. One stormy night, a figure cloaked in shadows emerged at the bridge, an unexpected visitor who had heard tales of the restless spirits. This newcomer, a descendant of Donald, bore the weight of the sins of the past, and the spirits felt their anger rise. Epilogue: A New Dawn. As dawn broke over Araguaia, the spirits lingered at Eleanor's bridge, their faces a mixture of sorrow and hope. The promise of love and vengeance filled the air, but the arrival of the stranger brought with it a new threat. Would the cycle of pain continue, or would this new soul find a way to break the chains of the past? The winds whispered secrets, and the trees swayed with anticipation, signaling that the story was far from over. The unquiet graves awaited their next chapter, and the echoes of love and sorrow would resonate through time. To be continued.